Hi folks, Andy Murray here for WhatCulture Wrestling. Unfortunately, with some very sad news to report this afternoon, the tragic passing of WWE Hall of Famer Pat Patterson at 79 years old. So this news first came to light from a tweet from Tony Marinaro, who is a sports radio host around Pat's native Quebec, tweeted that he'd received a text message from his friend Roger Boulotte stating that Pat had passed away earlier today in a Miami hospital at 79 years old. Patterson had been suffering sadly from cancer. WWE followed up with a statement of their own. I'll just read it here. WWE is saddened to learn that WWE Hall of Famer Pat Patterson has passed away. There's a link in their tweet to the obituary they've published to the website. Check that out if you want to learn a little bit more about Pat Patterson and his career. So it's a difficult legacy to sum up, this one, because you know, Pat Patterson debuted for WWE all the way back in 1979, but most recently, he was on television last year. He actually became the oldest person to ever hold a championship in WWE when he won the 24/7 title at 78 years old. So maybe if you're a younger fan, that's what you know him for. Or perhaps going even further back, you remember him from the Attitude Era, when he was one half of the Stooges alongside Gerald Briscoe. But his legacy goes far beyond that. Like I said, he debuted for WWE in 1979. That's a long time ago, more than 40 years ago. And he got a lot done. He accomplished a lot in that time. He was the first ever WWE Intercontinental Champion. He had a legendary match with Sergeant Slaughter, the back alley brawl, the street fight in Madison Square Garden in 1981. If you've never checked that out, you really should. It's as violent and hate-filled a bloody battle as you will see from that era of pro wrestling. And of course, Pat Patterson also, and this is kind of significant, invented the Royal Rumble. One of the most famous and important match types in all of pro wrestling history came from that man's mind. So whether or not you were familiar with his in-ring output, which ended in 1984 pretty much when he retired, this guy and his way of thinking definitely had some kind of influence on your pro wrestling fandom, whether you realize it or not. He also filled a number of backstage roles for WWE. He was a producer, a road agent at one point. He was one of Vince McMahon's closest confidants, described many times as Vince McMahon's right-hand man, an influential figure in the world of pro wrestling. Pat Patterson, a true trailblazer of the sport, sadly missed, dearly departed at 79 years old. At this time, we here at WhatCulture would just like to express our deepest thoughts, sympathies and condolences to Pat's closest friends and family of what must be a horrible time for them.